Hello, Alva. Welcome to today's Daily Bible Bite. We're in Genesis chapter 26 this morning in the Old Testament. And now here's a story in the life of Isaac. Now, chapter 26, verse 1. There was a famine in the land, besides the previous famine that had occurred in the days of Abraham. So Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines. The Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Stay in the land of which I shall tell you. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you, and bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give these lands, and I will establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham. I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven, and I will give your descendants all these lands, and by your descendants all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So Isaac lived in Gerar, and when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." For he was afraid to say, "She's my wife," thinking the men of this place might kill me on account of Rebekah, for she is beautiful. It came about, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out through a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was caressing his wife Rebekah. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, certainly she is your wife. How is it then that you said, 'She is my sister'?" And Isaac said to him, "Because I was afraid that I might die on account of her." And Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech charged all the people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." Now Isaac sowed in that land, and reaped the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man became rich, and continued to grow rich until he became very wealthy, for he had possessions of flocks and herds and a great household, so that the Philistines envied him. Now all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines stopped up by filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are too powerful for us." And Isaac departed from there and camped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Then Isaac dug again the wells of water which had been dug in the days of his father Abraham, for the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. And he gave them the names which his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of flowing water, the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with herdsmen of Isaac, saying, "This water is ours." So he named the well Esek, because they contended with him. Then they dug another well, and they quarreled over it too, and he named it Sitnah. And he moved away from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it, so he named it Rehoboth. He said, "At last the Lord has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land." Then he went up from there to Beersheba. The Lord appeared to him the same night and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." So he built an altar there and called upon the name of the Lord and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants dug a well. Then Abimelech came to him from Gerar with his advisor Ahuzzath and Phicol, the commander of his army. And Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you?" And they said, "We see plainly that the Lord has been with you." So we said, "Let there now be an oath between us, even between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, that you will do to us no harm, just as we have not touched you and have done to you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord." Then he made a feast, and they ate and drank, and in the morning they arose early and exchanged oaths. Then Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. Now it came about on that same day that Isaac's servants came in and told him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, "We have found water." So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. and they brought grief to Isaac and Rebekah. It's the end of chapter 26. Chapter 27 goes this way. Now it came about when Isaac was old, and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called his older son Esau, and he said to him, "Here I am." And Isaac said, "Behold now," no, I'm not going to do an old man voice. "Behold now, I am old, and I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your gear and your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare a savory dish for me, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die," says Isaac. Rebekah was listening while Isaac spoke to Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game to bring home, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Behold, I heard your father speak to your brother Esau, saying, 'Bring me some game and prepare a savory dish for me that I may eat, and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Now, therefore, my son, listen to me as I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me a choice young goat from there, that I may prepare them as a savory dish for your father, such as he loves. Then you shall bring it to your father that he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death.'" Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, "Behold, my brother is a hairy man. Esau is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and then I will be as a deceiver in his sight, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing." But his mother said to him, "Your curse be upon me. Go, get them for me. Only obey my voice." Verse 14 of chapter 27. So he went and got them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory food such as his father loved. And then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and she put them on Jacob, her younger son, and she put skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. And she also gave savory food and the bread which she had made to her son Jacob. And then he came to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" And Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Get up, please sit and eat of my game, that you may bless me." Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have it so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because the Lord your God caused it to happen to me." And then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come close, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob came close to Isaac his father, and he felt him, and he said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" And he said, "I am." So he said, "Bring it to me, and I will eat of my son's game, that I may bless you." And he brought it to him, and he ate. He also brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, "Please come close and kiss me, my son." So he came close and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments, and he blessed him. And he said, "See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which the Lord has blessed. Now may God give you the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and abundance of grain and new wine. May peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you, and be master over your brothers. And may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and blessed be those who bless you." Now, it came about that as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Then he also made savory food, and he brought it to his father, and he said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." And Isaac the father said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm your son, your firstborn, Esau." And then Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was he then who hunted game and brought it to me, so that I ate of it all before you came, and blessed him? Yes, and he shall be blessed." And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me." even me also, O my father. He said, your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing. And then he said, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, have you not saved a blessing for me? But Isaac replied to Esau, behold, I have made him your master, and all his relatives I have given to him as servants, and with grain and new wine I have sustained him. Now as for you, what can I do, my son? Esau said to his father, do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, oh my father! And so Esau lifted his voice and he wept. And then Isaac the father answered and said to him, behold, away from the fertility of the earth shall be your dwelling, away from the dew of heaven from above. By your sword you shall live, and your brother you shall also serve. But it shall come about when you become restless that you will break his yoke from your neck. So Esau bore a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are near, and then I will kill my brother Jacob. Now when the words of her elder son Esau were reported to Rebekah, she sent and called her younger son Jacob and said to him, behold, your brother Esau is consoling himself concerning you by planning to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise and flee to Haran, to my brother Laban. Stay with him a few days until your brother's fury subsides, until your brother's anger against you subsides, and he forgets what you did to him. Then I will send and I will get you from there. Why should I be bereaved of both sons in one day? Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm tired of living because the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth like these, from the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? It's the end of chapter 27. Chapter 28 is short, and we'll fit it in. So Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said to him, you shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise and go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and from there take to yourself a wife from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may become a company of people. May he also give you the blessing of Abraham, to you and to your descendants with you, that you may possess the land of your sojournings, which God gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. Now Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him away to Paddan Aram to take for himself a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he charged him, saying, you shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, and that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and gone to Paddan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan displeased his father Isaac, and Esau went to Ishmael and married, besides the wives that he had, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, and sister of Nebaioth. Then Jacob departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran. He came to a certain place, and he spent the night there because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of this place and put it under his head and lay down in that place. And he had a dream. Behold, a ladder was set on the earth with its top reaching to heaven. And behold, angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give it to you and to your descendants. Your descendants will also be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south, and in you and in your descendants shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." And then Jacob awoke from his sleep, and he said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." And he was afraid, and he said, "How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven." So Jacob arose early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had put under his head, and he set it up as a pillar, and he poured oil on its top, and he called the name of that place Bethel. However, previously the name of that city had been Luz. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, "If God will be with me, and will keep me on this journey that I take, and will give me food to eat and garments to wear, and I return to my father's house in safety, then the Lord will be my God. This stone which I have set as a pillar will be God's house, and of all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you." And that's the end of Genesis chapter 28. And then we're looking to Matthew chapter 10 and the other half of the chapter that we read yesterday. So Matthew chapter 10, beginning at verse 26, goes this way. And we'll read it to the end. "Therefore, do not fear them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. What I tell you in the darkness, speak in the light, and what you hear whispered in your ear, proclaim upon the housetops. Do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? And yet not one of them will fall to the ground, apart from your Father knowing. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered, so do not fear, you are more valuable than many sparrows. Therefore, everyone who confesses me before men, I will also confess him before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, I will also deny him before my Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I came to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I came to," quoting scripture, he said, "set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies will be the members of his household." Jesus continues in verse 37, "He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who has found his life will lose it, and he who has lost his life for my sake will find it. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he who receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever in the name of a disciple gives to one of these little ones even a cup of cold water to drink, truly I say to you, he shall not lose his reward." And that is the end of Matthew chapter 10. That's the end of our Bible Bite today. God bless you. Thank you for spending time with me these days, and I hope that it is blessing you and that you're growing as you look at the big picture of the story. We'll see you tomorrow.